I decided to do an 8 foot by 8 foot platform. I did this size so that I could fit my squat rack as well as a deadlifting area. For the base of the platform, I used 2 pieces of OSB, followed by 2 3/4 inch thick plywood sheets being placed perpendicular on top. For the middle part of the platform, I did 1/2 inch thick plywood with a 1/4 inch thick cabinet grade plywood for the top. I did this because it was cheaper than buying 3/4 inch cabinet grade plywood, and also this way I can easily replace the top if it gets damaged. After taking measurements for the placement of the centerpiece, I drilled holes for my platform bolts. Originally, I was going to have the middle piece be a 4 foot by 8 foot piece of plywood, but I decided to do a smaller area specifically for deadlifting. The deadlifting area of the platform measured 6 inches smaller on each side. After taking the measurements, I cut the sides out with my circular saw and a straight edge. With a little magic, I was able to move the middle of my platform back to the base so I could start drilling it out. I wanted to do a design for the face of the platform, so I went to Staples and printed out a simple design. I then placed down painter's tape for the base of the stencil. I then put the design on top and cut everything out with a box cutter before spray painting the color I wanted. Since I was doing 2 colors, I used painter's tape to cover up the one color while I spray painted the second color on. I didn't worry that I got some light spray paint on the other parts of the platform because I was going to lightly sand everything down before putting down the oil-based polyurethane. Since the platform was so heavy and I didn't want to throw out my back or tear a bicep lifting it, I used some spare wood to prop it up so I could drill out the squat rack bolt holes. I then added my first of many coats of poly to the platform base. I sanded each coat with some fine grade steel wool and then wiped it down before adding on the next coat. It was at this point that I realized I had made the platform in the wrong direction and would need to use some magic to move it. Unfortunately, due to the weight, there was no magic, so I had to ask a friend for help. While moving the platform, I made sure the bolt holes were drilled out completely. I then placed the bolts in and made sure the rack would line up correctly. I think I ended up putting over 4 coats of polyurethane on the platform overall, because I wanted to prevent as much future damage as I could. Once the face coat was complete, I used 3/4 inch thick rubber horse stall mats for the edges where I would be dropping the weight. I measured and cut each mat with a straight edge and a box cutter. When cutting the horse stall mats, I made sure to put a large pipe underneath so that it would give me some separation and make it easier to cut. I then placed double-sided heavy-duty mounting tape to hold down the mats before securing each mat with screws. When putting the screws down, I wanted to make sure to use washers as well, so that I did not drill directly through the rubber. Once all the mats were down, it was time to install the squat rack. My My favorite part of installing this rack was that I dropped one of the bolts onto the platform face and made a nice new mark. Oh well, it was going to get damaged eventually. Once it was all done, I could set everything up and enjoy the fruits of my labor.